So this is very important. This is the scope and sequence. This is essentially all of the lessons that you'll teach. So if you look at the first one, we have the basic alphabetic principles. And then we go on to consonants and long vowels. And the important thing about this multisensory approach is that long vowels always want to say their own name. They always want to say A, E, I, O, and U. Long vowels are the easiest for them to say and to master. And then we move to short vowels. The first thing that we teach for syllables, and this is where we get into the whole thing with syllables, is very important in this methodology. We have a whole bunch of different kinds of syllables that we're going to teach the kids, and it is cumulative. And this is the chart that we refer to. And we'll try to go through that a bit. The first syllable that we teach is a closed syllable. So I'm just going to go over here. And what we'll do is we'll have the word cat with a consonant, vowel, consonant. And what I teach them is, every vowel, first of all, every syllable has a talking vowel, right? Words are made up of syllables. They usually already know this. And they go ahead and clap out their syllables, and they have to be able to break the word into syllables. So then we teach them that every syllable has a talking vowel. Might have more than one vowel, but only one talking vowel. There's only one sound in each one. So then we go to a word and say, okay, where's the vowel? I want you to underline the vowel. So they underline it and mark it with a V. And that's part of what's going to build up into dividing into syllables. So A always wants to say its own name. Does this say k-8? Well, no, it doesn't, so we have to teach them why. And the reason why is because this mean consonant at the end, if there's a consonant at the end of a syllable, which could be a word or it could be a big word divided up, if that's a consonant, then it acts like a door. And we draw a door around it, give it the visual with a little doorknob. And that door closes the door on the vowel, and the vowel can't say its long name anymore. It can only say its short name. And I teach them the two symbols for short and long, and they know that it says a short sound. And this is called a closed syllable. And I have them do all this. We call it word surgery. We go through it, we break it apart. The consonant gets a door. It closes the door on the A. A says a short sound, and that's a closed syllable. That's our first kind. These are the closed syllable words, a bunch of them. It's really important when you're doing these words, and this is something that's hard to do. At first you think, oh, this isn't that difficult. But once you practice it a little bit, you realize, oh my goodness, this is not that easy. You go through and you pick out a word list, and some of the vowels don't really say what they're supposed to say. Like a lot of it too is am and an. A doesn't say what it's supposed to when it's beside an N or an M, but that's easy to explicitly teach. You just say, well, A behaves a little differently with an N and an M. But there's other words that I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but if you have an A at the end of a word, for example, it acts like a schwa. And we'll learn about schwas later, but it's when vowels do not say what they're supposed to say. Like if you take the word happen, right? If we tried to spell happen, we'd put an E, or instead of an E, we would put an I between the P and an N. And a lot of kids do that, right? Or because, but that's a whole different rule. So you have to be careful that the vowels that you choose say what they're supposed to say, in the beginning especially. Once we learn about schwa, then you can throw all kinds of things at them. But until then, you have to do exactly what they're supposed to, what they've already learned. The next one that we learn is a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. That's when we start using this chart. Right now, we only have one kind of syllable, and that's a closed one. So they're still learning just closed syllables. but we're going to start breaking them up a little bit differently now. So this is when we move from one small syllable to a multi-syllable word. This is when the kids can start pronouncing words with more than one syllable, which is a big step. So we'll have a word. That's my favorite one to use. And this is where the word surgery starts, where we're actually syllabicating. So the first thing we do, the very first step, and I believe there's a handout there of the steps for syllabication. Unfortunately, it's not all right in the right order. I think the front page is in the back. It's green, the green one. So these are all the important things that you need to know about syllabicating words. So the first step is always underline the vowels. So they go through and they say this is a vowel and this is a vowel, and we mark them with a V. That's step one. The next step, we have to draw a bridge between the two V's. And then we label what's in between the two V's. So that's a consonant and that's a consonant. And now we can look at our yellow chart and see it's the very first one, because it's the first one we teach. And we divide the word here. So if they're not able to read the word, they can't read it and then clap it yet, right? I can't say, well, how many syllables are in this word? They can't read the word. If they can read the word, then they're beyond this step. But we teach this step anyways because, again, it builds on what they're going to learn. So then once they've decided where it's broken up, then they go through, they look at the syllable. Okay, what does I say? That's what we need to know. I has more than one sound. Does it say I or does it say eh? Well, we have to look at the last letter of the syllable. The last letter of the syllable is a consonant. Then we draw a door, and it closes the door on the I. I can only say its short sound. That is a closed syllable. We just do CL for short. So now they can pronounce this. They can sound it out. P-I-K, pick. Okay, good. So now we can move on to the next syllable. Again, same thing. Last letter is a consonant. Put a door around it. Closes the door on the vowel. Vowel says its short sound. That's a closed syllable too. N-ik. So they have p-ik, pick, n-ik, nick. And it's important for them to say the whole word together, right? They have to be able to blend that and say pick, nick. And then they can read it. The kids actually love doing this activity. This is one of their favorite things. It's really easy to do, and it makes them successful. They're able to go through and sound out words that they couldn't before. All right, so we have our word. And what's the first thing that we do, Jacob?
Underline the vowel.
Underline the first two vowels. Good job. And then?
Draw a bridge.
Oh, what do we gotta draw? What do we gotta do before we draw the bridge?
The V.
We gotta mark the vowels with a V, and then we draw our bridge from V to V. And what's the next step?
You put a C.
Label our consonants. C and N are both C's. Okay, so now we go to our chart. We have V, C, C, V. We must go to our chart. Go over there. Point to where V, C, C, V is. The very first one, V, C, C, V. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to divide it where, Jacob?
Right through the middle.
Right between the two consonants. That's where we divide our word into syllables. How many syllables does that word have?
3. 2.
2. Good job. Okay, so now when we trying to figure out what our syllables say, we have to look at which letter of the syllable.
The last letter
Of the syllable, exactly.
Syllable.
The last letter. So in the first syllable here, what's the last letter?
C.
C. Is that a vowel or a consonant?
Consonant.
Consonant. So what happens?
I have to make a door.
Right? Why are you making a door?
So I can, it says sh to the I, so it doesn't make a wrong sound.
That's right. It's closing the door on the I, so the I can only say its short sound. It says, what sound?
Eh.
Eh. It doesn't say I, it says if, because the C is closing the door on it, and it is, what kind of syllable is that?
A closed syllable.
A closed syllable. So put the short sound over the I and the CL for closed, okay? The short sound over the I. Good. All right, let's look at the second syllable. What does the first syllable say?
Pick.
Pick, good. Now let's do the second one. What letter do we need to look at?
C.
C, good job. What's the C doing?
It's making the I not make its short vowel sound.
It's making the I say a short vowel sound.
Yep.
Right, because it's doing what?
Closing the door.
Okay, so show me that it's closing the door. What does that syllable say?
Nick.
Okay, good. So read the word to me. You can read two different syllables. Read them to me.
Picnic.
Picnic. Good job.
Picnic.
What's a picnic? Use it in a sentence for me.
It's like when you go outside and have a picnic with some of your friends and your family.
Okay, use it in a sentence for me.
I am going outside and having a picnic with my family and my friends.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay, after that we have the consonant digraphs. That's ch, sh, w, th. Has a 2 beside it, has a superscript 2 because there are two sounds. There's th and v. So I teach both of them at once. There's th as in think and v as in this. It actually has two sounds. If I have an advanced student, somebody that really catches on quickly, I will also teach PH at this point, because it's also a digraph. It's a little bit later in the lessons, but if I have a student that really catches on quickly and they sometimes already have a lot of their digraphs, I just add PH to that. Usually that's one of those odd things. Children already know that. They can pronounce PH, but maybe not basic, short vowel sounds. Then we come up to our next kind of syllable. We have our first syllable is a closed syllable. Our next syllable is a magic E syllable. And that one works like this. So we have a word lake. They're going to say lack. That's what they want to say. They make that vowel short. But what we do is we say that there's an E. We have to underline our vowels, right? But this E at the end doesn't follow the same rule. There's an E at the end. It's vowel, consonant, vowel. What that E does is it gives all of its power to the A. And the A, even though there's a consonant there, that A is now able to have all that energy and say its own name again. Then after that, we learn about the different initial consonant blends. So you can add to their pack. You can add to their alphabet pack. So now we've added the digraphs, the SH, TH with the 2, CH, WH, perhaps PH. We can add the consonant digraphs, the initial consonant blends. And there's a whole bunch of them. You just go through and have them practice them. Some kids, it's hard for them to do. Some, it's not. A lot of them already know it, but it's good practice. And then after the initial consonant blends, we go to the final consonant blends. And as you teach each of these lessons, you're adding these cards to their deck. So that when you do that initial visual drill, you're having the digraphs, you're having the blends, right? And when you're in the sand, now at this point, if we said what says A always says A, but now A magic E says A too. We teach QU, Q and his little buddy U, he doesn't go anywhere without him. The first spelling rule is what's known as Sammy loves fried zebra, and that's S, L, F, and Z. When a word with one closed syllable ends in S, L, F, or Z, you double it. One syllable, closed vowel. So it's a short vowel, like bell, fuzz, that kind of thing. Pass, there's some examples. It's always doubled. And we have a funny picture of Sammy chasing after a zebra with a frying pan to show them, and they remember that and they think it's funny. Just the whole Sammy loves fried zebra. A lot of times, if I feel like, some children really like to get artistic, I'll have them draw their own picture of what Sammy loving fried zebra looks like. It can get quite interesting.